Welcome back to Facilitation TV, the program that lets you tap into our practical experience about facilitation, about working with groups, and that puts it in a way that you can apply this pretty easily in your own work. I'm Bevan Besson. I'm joined by my colleague Andrew Huffer. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Bevan.
So, Andrew, today we're talking about being right in the middle of workshops, about facilitation in process. It may be in a team meeting, it could be any setting here. Let me give you a scenario here. You've got two distinct groups in the meeting. Despite an in-principle agreement that they're going to work together, the discussion around the details starts to really jar. It seems to become really what we might call positional, spread apart, etc. What do you do in a situation like that?
For me, I picked this up at a conference with the International Association of Public Participation a few years ago, which it really taught, you see this quite a bit in community engagement issues where people are taking a stance and they're holding that stance despite their lack of understanding. They actually have some areas of agreement because they're so fixed on that because they want to be right is part of the problem.
Sure.
So for me, it's trying to give them some permission to step away from being right and actually understand where each other's coming from. So the things I want them to find out about each other is where they have common interests and shared values. So they may have a different position on something, but if they both have a common interest, which may be the health of the local waterways, then that could help them start to move from the positions they've got. And if they've got common values, which is further about making sure that our waterways are well looked after, then they can start to work a bit closer together as well. So for me, it's having a conversation which really helps them understand those areas of commonality in the things they do agree on, rather than the things they're taking a position on and trying to be right.
Yes, Andrew, so it's much the same, I find, where you do get that jarring and where you're at that stage. One of the things I guess I would do in this case is just take that breath and say, okay, let's go back to the higher level, to where we had got some agreement before. Let's go back, and it's almost like a touchstone. Let's touch base back there. As you said, it'll be around values. It'll be around those sorts of things, the key parts there. One of the things then, picking up on what you said about interests and positions and all of those things, is to try and allow them then, having gone back and touched with that, to give them a sort of structure or a framework to try and inch towards each other. One of the ones, and I'm looking here at one of our newsletters, newsletter number 10 here, about conflict management, and there's an article that I did in that one, and it's about having 4 boxes, about getting the group to work with is, what is it that they want? What is it that we want? Okay, so what is it they want, whoever they is in this case? What is it that we want here? The medium boxes between that is, what are we prepared to give? What would they be prepared to accept? It's a sort of inching together. Here's where we are here. What would we be prepared to give? What could work for us? What do we think they would be prepared to accept? And gradually inching it together.
Sounds great.
Makes sense?
Absolutely. And I think it'll help make sense to the people there, especially when they're in that pretty tense sort of emotion that they're feeling.
Yeah.
Something clear and practical to move towards.
And I think it is that sense, and I think that's where the facilitation comes in. It's not about forcing them to choose between two positions, because you will just reinforce the clash. Yeah. It's about giving them pathways to try and inch towards something they can agree on, knowing that overall then they are in agreement on the big things. Yeah. So, yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so another episode. Fantastic. I'll see you in the next one.
Yep, episode 8. Thanks, Bevan.
Thanks, Andrew.